my businesses weren't really, they were successful enough that nobody starved, but it was close. It was a close call for a while. And so anyway, in 2002, I sent a check to this organization for $5,000, thinking that was pretty good return on their $250 investment. And I got a letter back from this woman who was obviously aged, and she wrote me this note. It says, "Bob, you probably don't remember me, but I'm Mrs. Latour, and you were the crossing guard for my 3 daughters all the way through Ludwig School. And you were the first person to ever give back from our scholarship. And we've been doing this 53 years. And please come to our annual meeting if you're in town. We're going to have our annual meeting on such and such a date." So I made an effort to change my schedule around and go back to where I grew up and sat through, and it turned out it was the 100th anniversary of this organization. They were 100 years old. And their annual budget was about $30,000. So it wasn't a really big organization or anything like that. They would sell things at Christmas time, crafts and things like that, and get enough money together, and they gave these scholarships out. So I thought, this is pretty cool, 100th anniversary. I had just gotten a check for $40 million. So I was feeling pretty good about things. And I wrote a check for $100,000 to put 5 kids, to help 5 kids go through college. Give each one of them $5,000 a year for 4 years. So $5,000 for 4 years for 5 kids, that's $100,000. And we did that, and got to know the kids really, really well. We actually wound up picking 7 kids because they were having them applied, and it was hard to say no to these kids. And got to know them, flew them to Princeton. By that time, I had purchased Woodrow Wilson's house, a very famous house here in Princeton. Albert Einstein's more famous house. And most of them had been on an airplane for the first time, took them to New York City. It was a big deal. And got to love these kids. And so the next year, decided, well, let's do that again. That felt so good, let's do that again. And so over the years, we had more and more and more kids, and my business became more and more successful. And one of the things that I resolved when I was your age, and this is probably fairly strange because I talk to people and I'm like, why were you thinking that when you were in high school? Is I wanted to be able to look. When I turned 60, this is what I thought when I was in my late teens. When I'm 60 years old, if I get to live that long, I want to be able to look back at my life and be proud of what I did. Because I grew up in a family that wasn't the case. People were just struggling to live and get by, and they weren't thinking about things like that. They were just trying to live and have enough to eat and pay the bills and get a 6-pack of beer on Friday night. And so I was really focused on that, and I thought a lot about it. And things didn't work out real well for me for a long time, but finally they came together. And being a millionaire is a pretty good thing, but when you sell we sold our company for $4.5 billion 4 weeks ago, and that sort of just blows me away that we did that. And this country is a big country, and so if you're successful doing something, really successful in doing something with a little business, and you take it national, that's what happens. You have a company that's maybe worth $1 million, and you keep building it, and you have all this wealth that you create. And then you read about in the paper and on the TV what a horrible person you are because you're in the upper 1% of the people, and there's all these poor people. And that had nothing to do with why we did the scholarship program, but okay, so I'm in the upper 1%, I plead guilty. So when you make a lot of money like that, you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do with it? And I had already had 2 houses, and I don't like the idea of private airplanes. I just don't like the amount of fuel they burn per hour, and didn't really want to buy a yacht. I looked at some yachts, and when I found out that the flowers cost $2,000 a week to just keep flowers on the yacht, that offended me. I wasn't going to pay $2,000 a week. So why not put more money into the scholarship program? Because that was the most fun thing that I did. We didn't do this program, so we did for us. I did for me more than for you, because I get such great pleasure out of seeing you kids go through and have a great opportunity to make a difference in the world. And I learned along the way in my reading and after college that you need to take care of yourself and be a good person and invest in yourself. And then if you have extra resources, you sort of help your family and help your extended family. And the more resources that you have, you try to help more and more people along the way. So we started off with 5 kids a year, back 15 years ago. And we did 100 and how many Kelly? This should between Illinois here? 160 kids.
128 here.
128 here and 62 in Illinois, so that's 190. We added 190 of you into our program this year into 9th grade, and those kids are going to all go through college. We have a 95% graduation rate in 4 years with our kids, and they're going to go through college. And why? Because we were able to build this really successful company. And my friends who, CEOs of Fortune 1000 companies, people I've gotten to know over the years just by going to different conferences, they've put $10 million into the company in the last 6 months, into the foundation, in addition to my money. And I'm really hoping that we can take what we've learned here and take it nationwide. Well, I've done this once with my company. You took something that really worked well and you take it national. It's a big country. There's lots of resources out there. There's lots and lots of opportunities. So when you come back for our 10th reunion, or whenever we have a get together, we're going to hopefully be able to talk about how we grew across the country. And we have a program where we can put a kid through college and mentor them through high school and be able to make a really big difference. And what we're trying to do now is we're going after the kids who we think probably would never go to college and try to get them early enough that we can change their attitude and give them hope that they can go to college. So we're working on developing a program for the children of incarcerated parents. There's millions of these kids, and if you think you've had it rough, if you're if you have a father or a mother that's in prison, you've got 2 strikes against you, and it's not your fault, not at all. So we're trying to help those kinds of kids and build the program around the most needy kids who are smart enough and care enough to be able to get through high school, taking a really tough academic course, so they can be successful in college. So that's what we're doing. So I also want to talk about this, and that's why did